Good morning, my beautiful friends. Happy Friday to you. It is indeed Friday, and this is the Wake Up Call with Maui Paul. I am Maui Paul. We are here today to say some nice things about ourselves, to build into our own lives, to change up our own experience, and ultimately to completely change the course of our lives. We're here to say some good stuff about us. I'm gonna pull a card off the top of the deck. I'm gonna ask you if you are the affirmation on the card, and we are going to respond out loud together. I am this affirmation. As we do, we are going to be completely changing up the way that we think, and in doing so, giving ourselves ammunition for when life gets us down. We will be able to reach for these more positive thoughts. It is Friday, and because it's Friday, we are also going to go through the cards for the week and see where they have taken us so far. So let's pull a card, let's have some fun, and say that today I am motivational. I am motivational. My enthusiasm inspires action. So I am motivational. My enthusiasm inspires action. Are you motivational? You are motivational. Your enthusiasm inspires action. And I'm going to write that down in the comments now, that I am motivational, and affirm once again that my enthusiasm inspires action. And I'm going to put an exclamation point at the end of that because I'm feeling pretty energetic today. But I am motivational today, and you are as well. Each and every one of us is enthusiastic about something. And when we find what we're enthusiastic about, when we come to an understanding of what it is that really excites us, we get to share that thing. In fact, we can't hardly help but share that thing. We can't hardly help but share the things that we are enthusiastic about, that we are excited about, that really light us up and bring us joy. So I am motivational today, and you are motivational too. I chose an image of a ripple going through water in order to really show how motivation works. See, when we are excited about something, it moves the energy around us. And moving that energy around us is very similar to the ripples that are in a still pond. But instead of being the ripples in a still pond, it's the ripples that ripple out in the energy of the very fabric of reality that's around us. Haven't you ever noticed that when you decide to do something, that when you get excited about something, that all kinds of things just start lining up for you that you had never even were aware were even there? That's the kind of the way that it works when we're motivational. We get enthusiastic about something, and the universe itself will start to work together to make that something manifest. So I am motivational today, and you are motivational too. And our enthusiasm inspires action. I remember the first time that I really started to get excited about my life. I mean, the first time as an adult. So as a kid, I was, of course, just as excited as all kids are about their life. I had big dreams, and I was gonna, color outside the lines and redefine reality, and basically go my own way, and ain't nothing was gonna stop me. And then I got to be a grown up, and I started to have bills and responsibilities. And I realized that very quickly that these bills and these responsibilities were really crimping my style. And I also realized that the responsibilities that I had, they were all responsibilities of my own making. That all this stuff was really just me, was me managing my own life, was me just taking care of the things that I had chosen. And I remember that this made me not particularly excited about life for many years, because I was like, okay, well, I guess this is what being a grown up is about. You go to a job that you don't like and do something that you don't want to do, and to pay a bill that you have to pay in order to survive, in order to eat. The grocery store requires money in order to trade them for the food, and so I at the time I was like, well, I guess I'm just gonna have to live smaller so that I can have more resources to do what I really want to do eventually. And for many years, my life was it was all about how can I entertain myself as cheaply as possible? How can I get through life as cheaply as possible so that I can have a good investment portfolio so that eventually, when I turn 65, I'll be able to retire and retire comfortably. Like that was honestly my life. And let me tell you that life, which didn't excite me all that much, it didn't make me very enthusiastic. There came a very catalytic event for me, which was that my roommate had actually my roommate had actually brought home like a bottle of alcohol, and I'm not really much of a drinker. I'm still not much of a drinker, but I mean I had a roommate at the time because at even though I was earning a pretty good salary, having a roommate was a great way of keeping more of my salary by reducing my rent by half. But he had brought home a bottle of alcohol, and so he's like, "Hey, it's Friday night. We don't have anything else to do, so let's drink this alcohol and talk." So we did. We drank the alcohol and talked. And I remember that as we drank the alcohol, that it really loosened me up. And as we started to talk about our lives, we were both talking about our experience, and we were sharing the fact that neither one of us were that enthusiastic about it. And in fact, we must not have been very enthusiastic, because our idea of a good time was sharing a bottle of liquor on a Friday night alone, or with each other in an apartment that was basically devoid of furniture or anything, because both of us were so freaking cheap we didn't want to buy anything. And I remember at the time I was like, life has got to be more than this. I'm 27 years old, and I just and this is how I'm living. Like, surely there's something else. Sure, I see other people who are my age group who are doing things that they're excited about. And so I decided that day that I was going to find the things that made me happy. I was going to find the things that I was enthusiastic about. And I remember I made a list of the stuff that was in my life that I really didn't like. And they included really, really big things like my living situation and my job. I mean, they included stuff that I thought that I needed, that were integral parts of my plan. And I remember that after I made this list of all the things that I didn't like or didn't want, I was like, okay, what would it really take to change this? And at the time, I had a pretty sizable nest egg, because I'd been living since I was about 18 years old, living on a shoestring, even though I wasn't necessarily earning on a shoestring. And I had no girlfriend, and I had no kids, and I had no real responsibilities. The main responsibility that I had was the responsibility to my future self, the responsibility to the plan that I had made in my early on about how my life was going to proceed. And so I was like, you know what? If I'm going to have an actualized life, if I'm going to really enjoy my life, if I'm going to do the things that are really important to me, first of all, I have to decide what they are. And second of all, I need to be okay with giving up the stuff that I have right now that I don't want, need, or like, and that don't serve me. And so I thought about, like, what would really excite me, and what would really excite me at the time was travel. And so I was like, I've done a little bit of travel in my life, and I was looking at this big pile of money that I had at the time, and I was like, you know what, I think that I can just I think I can afford to take about 6 months off and go do some traveling. And so that's what I did. I quit my job, and I took those 6 months off because I was enthusiastic about it. I got my passport, and I traveled, and I went. I eventually ended up in Costa Rica, and 6 months turned into about 7 years, because as I found things that I was enthusiastic about, I discovered that there were new ways to survive, new ways to live, new ways to meet my responsibilities. Which at the time, I had no idea just how mobile I really was. Just I had no idea just how not tied down I really was. I was tied down by the cords in my own mind. I wasn't tied down by the actual or by any actual responsibilities. And so I discovered things that I was enthusiastic about, and those inspired action in me. But something curious happened at that time in my life, at the time that I was really just discovering myself. And it was that I also recognized that the enthusiasm that I had also inspired action in other people. And all I was doing was that, at the time I wasn't on social media. I didn't have a Facebook. I didn't have I mean, there was really no other social media that existed at the time, but I didn't have a Facebook or anything. I had a list of emails of people who wanted to be kept in contact with. And so what I did was I was sending out regular email updates to the folks who were, just following me, I guess. And, and what was so fascinating about that was that these people were coming back to me and saying, "You're so brave for doing this, and you're inspiring me to do things myself. And here are some changes that I'm making in my life. And they're not as dramatic as the ones that you're making in yours, but I'm proud of them and I'm happy about them." And that's when I really came to an understanding that one of the things that I'm most excited about is helping other people be excited about things, because I helping other people to break out of their own little, mental boxes the same way that I had broken out of mine. In the allegory of the cave, Plato's allegory of the cave, somebody escapes the cave and they go and they find the light, and they understand that all the forms and the shadows that were on the wall of the cave were being formed by these other apparitions. And they go back, they grab the light, and they go back and they reveal the light to the people in the cave. And I kind of, I didn't realize at the time, I had no idea what Plato's allegory of the cave was at the time. But I came to an understanding later that simply by making those radical choices that I had the privilege of being able to make at the time, because of lots of different life choices and the confluence of lots of different life choices, but just by being able to do that, that I was able to inspire other people to live more actualized lives themselves. And I found that at that time, my friend group started to get fundamentally better. And it wasn't that I was changing my friends, it's that my friends were changing themselves. And that all of us were rising up together, that all of us were coming out of a pit of misery and despair that we did not know that we were in, and that we were all doing it together. And it took a radical change in my life that was catalytic for that. And I think that that's a really cool thing that happened to me, and that I got enthusiastic about something, and it really did. It inspired drastic action that I was uniquely qualified and able to take. And I recognized that the people around me weren't all qualified to take that action, but I was. And because I was, and because I talked about it, and because I talked about the ups and the downs of doing it, and let me tell you, there were plenty of ups and downs in doing it. But also that I was able to provide some courage and provide some motivation for the people around me to also reassess their own lives and also just make the changes. And I never stopped doing that. I never stopped encouraging other people to make small changes that they can make, that they're capable of making, that modify and change the course of their lives, in the same way that I continually do it with myself as well. I see something that's not working in my life, and to the ability that I have to change it, I change it. And of course, I'm at this time I have a lot more responsibilities than I did beforehand. I'm a lot less mobile than I was beforehand. I still have a comparatively small number of responsibilities, but the fact is that in the end, my responsibilities in life have increased. With my age, and with the fact that I'm now a much more mature adult than I was 20 years ago. But in the end, I'm still doing the same techniques. I'm still meditating on what it is that's working, and what it is that I like in my life, and what it is that I don't like, and making those changes, the small changes that I can make. It's nowhere near as dramatic now as it used to be, where I would just like pick up and move to a different country, which is what I did previously. Um, but in the end, the results are the same. It's just that the ripples are a little bit smaller. But the thing about ripples is that they never really stop. I might have made a really big splash in the pond of my life when I was 27 years old, and I just forsake everything that I knew in order to grab something completely different. But nowadays, the small pebbles that I drop in my own pool still ripple out. The motivation is still there for myself and for others. And as Shauna says, it truly is a gift to see the ripples. It's a gift. It's a gift when somebody repeats my own words back to me as they apply them in their own life. It's a gift when I see my friends making choices that are just a little bit different than the choices they used to make, that are good for them. And more importantly, it's a gift when I see the ripples in my own life, when I'm like, wait a minute, this thing that I have, this life situation that I have right now is as a result of a choice that I made a long time ago, and it's just a ripple coming back to me. So I am motivational, and you are motivational too. And never forget that people are watching the way that you live. The people around you are watching what you're doing that's going right. And if they're wise, they are applying the knowledge that you have, the wisdom that you've gained in their own lives. And as they do, your friend group is improving too. Not because you're changing your friends or forsaking your friends, but because your friends are actually improving themselves. And as all of us improve ourselves, as all of us live better, live in more in accordance with our own highest ideals and values, we inherently get to live in a better world that we are creating. Yes, the very act of life is creation. The very act of life is a gigantic art project. A friend of mine once told me that life is a costume party. So put on the costume you want to put on and play the role you want to play, because there's no gigantic director that's telling you what you have to do. But just don't hurt other people and play your role and have some fun, because that's what life is all about. So I am motivational, and you are motivational too. And when I look at the people who have gathered here today to be a part of the wake up call, I'm motivated by every single one of you, motivated to be better. So good morning to everybody who is here. It's wonderful that Shauna is here, and Janet. Wonderful to see you guys today. Good morning, Tony. Thank you as always for sharing it, Tony. I see it I see it pop up on my feed, and to all of you guys who share it, y'all are amazing. Good morning, Robert. I haven't seen you in a little while, and it's wonderful to see you on the call today. Just really good to see you guys here. It being Friday, we're going to go through the cards of the week and see how we got here today. So let's get that done now. So we started off the week by affirming that we are altruistic, that our actions reveal sensitivity and compassion. And that altruism helps us to be really loved and respected by the people around us. And which takes us to the next card of the week, where we affirmed on Tuesday that we are beloved, that our essence is treasured and valued, that we are treasured and valued not just because of what we can do for other people, but because of our inherent value and worth. When people love us for who we are, and when people love us for who we are, then we are not afraid to be who we really are, which means that we are fearless, that our unwavering confidence conquers doubt. And that unwavering confidence, which conquers that doubt, which conquers that fear, permits us to be aligned with our goals and allows us to move with purpose in our chosen direction. And of course, that alignment with our purpose in our chosen direction permits us also to be motivational. It gives us that enthusiasm. It inspires action in other people. And as we inspire that action in other people, that action and in ourselves as well, then it always, always, always gives us and leads us to a better life. So we are all of these things. And of course, they lead to the Awesome Saturday card, because tomorrow is Awesome Saturday, my friends. And Awesome Saturday is a holy day in my world. And I hope that it's a holy day in yours as well. It is certainly a blessed day. The seventh day truly is a blessed one. But on Awesome Saturday, we hang out with awesome people. We do awesome things. We hang out in awesome places. We eat awesome food. And we recognize our inherent value and worth. So indeed, this was the card reading for the week, and let's go out and let's motivate the people around us. Let's make the changes in our lives. Let's live in accordance with our dreams and our goals, and let's do whatever it is and whatever it takes to have the best, coolest, biggest, boldest, brightest life that we can possibly have. I will talk to you guys on Monday at 9 a.m. It has been an absolute pleasure to chat with you. And speaking of Awesome Saturday, I've been brewing up an Awesome Saturday service for all the other folks who hang out on me or who celebrate Awesome Saturday with me. And so I've been brewing up an Awesome Saturday service. It's not going to happen this Saturday, but it'll happen next Saturday. I'm actually going to run an Awesome Saturday service right here on the internet, where we will celebrate our inherent value and worth. So if you want to hang out with me on Awesome Saturday and do an Awesome Saturday service, it's going to be a bit more of a spiritual thing. It's going to be a bit more of of a soothing of our own spiritual bodies, of our own souls, and a bit of a more expansive take on life. So if you're interested in that, just be aware it's going to happen at 9 a.m. on Saturday morning, on next awesome Saturday, not tomorrow, but the awesome Saturday to come, and time TBD. I might do it at 9 a.m. I might decide that it being awesome Saturday, I don't want to have to get up with an alarm, so I might end up doing it around 11. We shall see. But just wanted to let you know I'm planning one of those, and I'm excited for doing it. And the awesome Saturday service is definitely going to be a thing. So if you're interested in attending it, come on by and attend it. So I will talk to you guys I'm talking on Monday at 9 a.m. where we will have more of these cards. Until then, keep on shining your light. Keep on being amazing, big, bold, bright, and beautiful. And I will chat with you guys on Monday at 9 a.m. Until then, aloha from paradise.